Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eddie Marcus. And I'd like to step away from this camera just for a second. I'm spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people. This title was not assigned to me, was not given to me, and is not a paying job. It's a title that I gave myself, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people. And I've given myself this title because my motto is that thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And it seems as though the trails that I've traveled, I'm the only one who envisioned this for all of the people. Black, white, men, women, old and young. To live this day, this time, as though you were in heaven. I grew up as a baby boomer in a world where strife was apparent every day. And I had the sense to believe that one day when I became a man, those and others like myself would be willing and have enough compassion to make the right necessary changes so that we as human beings could enjoy living without war, without crime, without violence, without all the hatred and bigotry. Well, I guess it's not amazing to any of you that that is the paramount evidence of our day. And over the past 30 years, I've done everything I possibly could to draw attention, believing that you, the people, if given the opportunity, if you heard the message, that you yourselves deep down inside want basically the same things out of life: peace, prosperity, and joy. You want to have a home, you want to have a career, you want to have transportation, you want to have children, you want to be able to enjoy this life. I don't think there's a single one of you in America that wants otherwise. But ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you, there are many of you who want it for yourself and not for others. I have tried to get this message to you that it's possible for every last one of us. I've even committed crime, gone to jail and prison just to try to get attention, and still didn't get attention, did the time. But it is a rugged road. I'll confess, it's hard for you to see the light. I know how difficult it is for me to be certain that I could see the light. A promising young man, a social scientist, working with the federal government. When I recognized that a need for someone to stand up for all of the people, I quit my job. I started washing windows and then washing dishes and then unemployed. Because I recognized as long as people had a little bit of something they could cling on to, they wouldn't want to give it up for anything. And I have a reality today, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a sad reality. Tonight, I heard a Republican candidate state that if we want our nation to go in a different way, we have to change presidents. It was just about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, we heard that same statement from others. They had a Republican president at that time. If we want our nation to be better, to go in a different direction, we'd have to change presidents. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? We changed presidents. Not only did we change presidents, we had people who said if you give black people a chance, they would be so much better than white people. So we killed two birds with one stone. We got a different president and a black one. But the things that we were upset about with the other president, the Republican, we are still upset about it with the Democrat and with the black. Now you got somebody that has come in calling themselves Tea Parties, and they are just as off the mark as any of the others. And you, ladies and gentlemen, you are always the victims. You are the ones that always lose. And you still don't know how to get your act together. Today, a lot of people got together and marched. It was a time that Martin Luther King assembled himself with garbage workers to say that they were important and they should be respected. Here in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, you had thousands to get together at the cathedral, something symbolizing God, and marching down to the state capitol, having to do with the power of government. And what was their echo? Standing up for the middle class. Now, I want to say to every last one of you who are out there marching, and every last one of you who calls yourself a middle class, and every last one of you who think that something should be done for the middle class, I want to say to you that everything that is happening to the middle class, you deserve. Let me tell you why you deserve it. You're upset because the wealthy, the rich, are ignoring you. And yet, at the same time, while you try to climb this hill, you want to do it on the back of the poor. You don't even want them associated with you. The rich don't want you associated with them. They want to stick it to you. And you want to ignore the poor. Well, I guess that's the way you learned it. But that's not the way to victory. You who are being oppressed, who feel that you are being oppressed in the middle class, should understand the plight of the poor. And rather than separate yourself from them, you should come together, draw yourselves together, and be empowered by the unity of those who are suffering. But no, it's a thing now between the middle class and the poor. Next week, you'll see the poor marching. You won't be with them. You don't want to be associated with them. You think that'll cause you pain and suffering, and you might be ignored. With a mindset like that, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care where you are, you're supposed to be ignored because you are no better than that which you fight against. You are, in fact, that which you fight against. Now, I'm almost 60 some odd years old now, and I've given it all I got. Yes, there are many of you out there struggling for this. You are passing out leaflets, passing out flyers, knocking on doors, but you're carrying the wrong message. Many of you are poor, and you're saying tax the rich. The rich don't want to hear that. They got people in power. They're not going to hear that. They're not going to tax the rich. And at the same time, the rich are saying, what are they saying? Cut spending, cut spending. That means that you at the bottom end who are being used and abused are going to be done even more so. And yet, you cannot find a reason to come together. Nothing I have ever said is causing you to want to come together. Nothing that your preacher says causes you to want to come together. In fact, I heard one lady tell me that her pastor told her we will always have the poor with us. I wonder why. Because you don't care. You don't care. And as long as you don't care, it won't get done. And here we go. We say President Barack Obama will probably raise $1 billion this time. We hear that Donald Trump says he'll spend $600 million of his own. And if he can get some money from the outside public, he'll have over $1 billion. Billions of billions against you, the people. Against you, the people. Ladies and gentlemen, Republican has a philosophy. They got a platform. And it doesn't include everybody. Democrats, they got a platform. They got an agenda. They got a philosophy. And it doesn't include everybody. So if you're on one side or the other, you are against yourself. But you don't understand that. All you want to do is win. We in now. The gas prices were going over George Bush. They kept on with the Democrats. Republicans, Democrats. All the time you have been living in this country, it has been Republican and Democrat. And you have been trained or brainwashed to think that that is the only way in. Let me tell you the solution, ladies and gentlemen. The solution is to find a representative that represents the Republicans, represents the Democrats, represents the Tea Party, and represents no party, represent independent. And what must that representative want? He must want the same thing for each of you. Peace for every last one of you. Prosperity for every last one of you. Joy for every last one of you. And what does that translate into? It translates, ladies and gentlemen, into a career of choice, giving you something to do to make your life having some value, some significance while being here in these bodies on this planet. making sure that you have unlimited, unrestricted education to be the best at whatever it is you choose to do, to make sure that you have health care available to you so that you won't get sick, and if you do, you get treatment and get well, and preventive measures to keep you from getting sick again. And having these careers of choice will allow you to apply yourself with passion to create whatever goods we as a people say we need, to create whatever services and provide them for all of us, we the people, so that we can live here in this time as though we were in paradise somewhere. And yet, after 30 years, I started this walk when I was 28 years old. And here I am, 30 some odd years later, talking to you the same as I talked to you 30 years ago. And you haven't grown 1 inch towards what I'm talking about. And further, in fact, you're getting further and further away from it. And you probably want me to come and speak to you real nice like you're a little child. If you're a little child, you're about the most ignorant child I've ever seen in my life. And those of you who call yourselves spokesmen for God, what kind of God do you serve? One God in the Republican camp, another God in the Democratic camp. A God divided is not a God at all. Now, you say, regardless of what other camp you're in, that your God is a God of love. What kind of love? Love for you? Well, that God supposedly made all of us. So what God would make some that he loves and others that he hates? I know your God. Let me tell you who your God is. Your God is in God we trust. Money. It has nothing to do with the God that's unseen. It has nothing to do with the God that created the sun, the galaxies, the earth, the trees, the rivers. No, that God that you praise and honor is money. And all you want is money. This is why Democrats and Republicans are trying to raise billions of dollars, because you think that the one who raised the most money is the one that's best for this country. Let me tell you, I love this country. That's why I stand up and say the things I say. I got a family. I love my children. But I'll be damned if I'm going to be a slave just to be here. I've convinced myself that all of us came from heaven at one point and one time. That we are an overflow from heaven. Sometimes I have to argue with myself. Is it to come here to learn how to live in heaven because we were unfit to live there? I can easily see that we were unfit because we're unfit now. And everybody who lives here and has a change in their experience and their development and become heavenly worthy, we kill. Yes, we kill. I don't care what individual pull the trigger. We kill them because they get away with it. And when I say get away with it, I'm not talking about putting them in jail. We keep on doing what we were doing in the first place. Gandhi died. Did the people change? Of course not. Martin Luther King died. Did the people change? Of course not. They say Jesus Christ died. Did the people change? Of course not. So it seems to me that only those who are killed for trying to do the best thing are entitled to go to heaven, but I'm not God, so I'm not making that decision. But I'm saying one thing. This is hell. I don't care what you see. This is hell. And I have no plans whatsoever or no desire whatsoever to keep living in hell. Now you might say, well, what about my children? What about my children? I want my children to know that there is a God and that they don't have to live in the slop. You will kill them, but you don't want them to kill themselves. And why should they kill themselves when they got a cause, something that they can stand up for? Let them stand and let you kill them and leave you in your hell. Now, you think I don't love you, right? I tell you what, I don't want to live here with you. You can keep this mess. Keep this mess. Keep on going to war. Killing your sons, your daughters, your husbands and your wives, your mothers and your fathers. Keep on going to war, nation against nation. Keep on praising your God. In God we trust, the dollar bill or the yen, whatever you call it, money. Keep on trusting in it. There will come a day. Maybe we don't know what your tsunami will be, but I guarantee you, if it came, you won't think about money. You won't think about color. You won't think about gender. All you're looking for is a helping hand. Why do you have to put yourself in a boat like that before you change? I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'm asking you, as I've asked you for years, change now. But will you change? Will you? For your own good? Will you change? No, you won't. So let me tell you this, and this is my last thing. Father God, I heard your message, and I gave it my best shot. And if this is the best that earth has to offer, I give it back to you. And if you allow me to pass out with a heart attack or something like that, it's okay. I'm fed up with it. Or if the evil one wants to send somebody to pull a trigger, that's okay too. I want liberty or give me death. Thank you.